create for small business. This requires an information technology manager or administrator or someone with a certification in Windows Server 2003 to really understand how every feature works, whether it's terminal services, IIS server, SQL. You know, with the home server, it's more of a matter of being able to back up files on a couple computers with a client that's installed on those machines. It's more or less about being able to share out files and back them up very easily, and also being able to share out multimedia content to all of your computers at once. It's basically could be considered a home base for all your computers, and it allows for a certain amount of remote desktop activity. So you can sort of try to remote in, whether you're at a hotel or on a business trip and trying to get back onto your home computer or something. But ultimately, as you see, yeah, Windows Server 2003 is booting up, and it'll do this about a dozen more times before we're done. So we'll just go ahead and skip on to the next step now. When we implement Windows servers in a professional environment, we tend to focus on the idea of network infrastructure and network management. What Windows Home Server intends to do or attempts to do is to totally knock that out for the home user. And we see a lot of weird stuff going on with the installer. We see that it takes a very long time. It's sort of a hybrid between the Windows server, small business server installation slash XP installation mode with the Vista style or Windows 7 style PE loader installer. But really, what's going on here is it's trying to do everything for you so that you don't really have to answer any questions. And that's probably why it takes so long. They've sort of, to put it bluntly, made this server idiot proof. So if you don't know really how to manage a server, that's okay. And, you know, basically the whole concept is we're going to guide you. As a matter of fact, one thing you'll see is a task that most people who do a server installation will do after they install the operating system. And we're about 20 minutes in and we're nowhere near complete with this install. But it'll go ahead and actually do a check disk of the drive automatically. It'll scan the drive for errors, which is something we never see with a Windows installation. It's almost like unheard of to see this. I certainly haven't seen it before. I've done quite a few Windows Server installs, and I've never seen it do this. I could be just bugging out here, but I really have never seen it do this before. And it'll go on and on. It'll restart more and more for about an hour, and this is with very fast hard drives. So if you have like one hard drive, this is highly unrecommended. For a server, you need to have at least 2 drives. 4 is even better. If you have 6 or 8, great. I mean, you really need to have a lot of horsepower to run this type of thing. Even with the home server. The home server can work on requirements that are very small, but if you're trying to back up all your files on all your other computers, you're definitely going to need a lot of hard drive space. So let's continue on and see how this goes. Overall, the installation is not very difficult, and it's pretty much once you start at the very beginning and input the initial information, the installation will take a long time, so you can go out, go to the movies, come back, something like that. But you'll really appreciate the fact that when you come back, you'll have a server waiting for you, and it's ready to be set up. And the configuration process is actually much more interesting and much more fun than watching this installer. So pretty much this is how it goes. The installer doesn't really change anywhere from here. Perhaps one of the most frustrating points is one we'll just zoom to real quick, and that'll be the end of the video. By far, Windows Home Server must be the longest server out of Microsoft's large collection of server operating systems. It must be the longest one to install because it's pretty much trying, as I said before, to do everything for you. But one thing that's very interesting and very annoying is this one part here where it like just stuff pops up out of nowhere while it's doing this installing updates thing. Right now it's telling you it's installing updates, but meanwhile you're getting like some kind of user interface that you really shouldn't see while the operating system is being installed. And you can actually navigate around and do all sorts of things and check things. You might actually be able to open some programs. And if you plan on doing this while you're doing the install, that's highly not recommended. Then it sort of like disappears and comes back. And this is sort of a weird thing. And it's probably the product of the fact that home server, and actually now if you have an internet connection, it's actually going online and downloading probably dozens, if not over 100 updates from Microsoft servers here. So this is what takes forever. I mean, this turns what would be a very simple process, a very simple installation, into something that takes forever. We're talking about a DVD media here, installation media, that's really something like 800 megabytes, but the installation winds up taking over an hour, and it's just like unbelievable, especially with this type of hardware. I can't imagine someone running a dual-core processor with 2 gigabytes of RAM and maybe 2 hard drives, one in a RAID 1 for backup purposes or, redundancy, disaster recovery. I can't imagine it because it would take like 4 or 5 or 6 hours, and I've seen it done. I've had to do it before. I've seen it done before, but for a home server, I just don't like that idea, and I think that's why this operating system was geared more towards people just like buying it in the store or something. Like most of the time, if you're going to acquire Windows Home Server, you're probably not even going to know how to install the operating system unless you're really like one of those do-it-yourself people. You're probably not going to do this installation. So it is very long install, and as you see, this installing updates thing goes on forever and ever and ever. But once it's done, the configuration process actually is very informative, useful, and we'll get to that point in another video where you will be able to see exactly how, now after all the files are placed, the devices are configured, everything's working nominally, you'll see how you can now centrally manage your home, all of your home computers from this one device. It's almost like a system command center type software, which Microsoft also has, but for enterprises and large businesses. Well, here we have it, everyone. We've condensed what is anywhere from a 45-minute to 4-hour installation into a about 13 or 14-minute video. What's interesting here is that we're now at the welcome screen, the configuration screen, and once we set up some stuff here, if you check out the next video about this, if you're actually still interested, we'll go into how to configure the home server, how other computers on your network appear on the home server, and what the benefit and disadvantage is of the home server system. You'll definitely need to know a couple things about home server before the end of this video, and those facts are the minimum requirements to actually run home server, which I haven't given you. The minimum requirements to run home server are actually very small. They actually are, as of 2007, 1.2 gigahertz equivalent x86 CPU. So you can't run this 64-bit, by the way. One internal hard drive, which is 80 gigabytes minimum. 512 gigabytes of RAM. A 1 gigabit Ethernet network card, and 4 external USB ports. We hope that you'll have, and hopefully, this will be the case. But the thing is, this isn't the minimum requirements. I mean, if you have like 2 or 3 computers, you want like more than 80 gigabyte hard drive. You don't want like a really slow 1.2 gigahertz Atom processor like netbook running on this thing. You really want to have a powerful quad-core processor with something like 2 or 3 gigabytes of RAM, and you want to at least have a 1.5 terabyte hard drive, if not more so. So we'll go into that in the next video. But thanks for watching. For more information on server technology and especially Windows 7, visit windows7forums.com.